Nation. It's a kind of a family. Wherever I roam, up and way home, that's where I long to be. I'm a member of a Red Sox Nation. It's a kind of insanity. Yeah, I live and die with Red Sox pride for eternity. I fake a smile November until opening day. Suffering baseball withdrawal around the clock. When April comes, hey, meet me down on Yawkey Way. That's when Red Sox Nation starts to rock.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to episode 50 of the Avid Boston Podcast, presented by AVIDBOSTON.com. I am Terry Cushman, and I will be joined momentarily by my co-host, Dave Kwiatkowski. Red Sox wrapped up a 3-game sweep against the Toronto Blue Jays. Everything seems to be firing finally on all cylinders for the Red Sox. Hanley Ramirez is no longer with the team, as we have covered. Dustin Pedroia is back. Things finally seem to be taking shape. David, welcome back.
Well, thank you, sir. Glad and happy to be back.
Yeah, talking baseball.
Talking baseball again. It's always nice.
Better thing to do than talk baseball at 10:34 p.m. on a Wednesday night.
Nothing better than that when you got to be up early the next day. But I wouldn't have it any other way.
Absolutely. If I wasn't on vacation, I'd be up at 4:30.
There you go.
Well,
so
go ahead. Take us through.
Yeah. We got the Sox. You know, they continue their dominance of the Toronto Blue Jays this year. They continue to be our punching bag. This time, it wasn't as close as some of the other games. We had David Price getting back on track, taking a frozen rope off the chest, but he had a great win. We beat up on Anibal Sanchez again, who was having a brutal year. Benintendi continues his hot streak, puts up a huge day, including a mash and a 3-run home run. Next game, we had Porcello also get back on the horse. That was the common theme this series. Porcello comes in, pitches a great game, really got screwed out of a couple runs late by, I would say, errant throw by Dustin Pedroia. Kimbrel came in, got the save, kept it going, and Benintendi continued to play well as Sandy Leon had the awesome rare infield double. And today, the day game, 6-4, but the score didn't really say it. I felt like the Red Sox were in control the whole game. Eddie Rodriguez continued to be one of the Red Sox best pitchers in the past month and a half. He comes in 6 2/3, 100 pitches on the dot, gets the win because JD Martinez mashes home runs again, and Kimbrel comes in, makes it interesting, but the Sox finish off the sweep 6-4, and head down to Houston 39-17 at the month of May.
And probably the first real big test of the year, other than maybe that first Yankee series after we got done beating up on bad Florida teams. But
yeah, I think the Yankee series was good, and other than that, this is the true. I mean, I think the LA series was actually a pretty big test. I think you'll see LA in the playoffs this year, but this is the biggest one so far.
Absolutely. With Rodriguez specifically, did you always have the faith in him? I always did, and it's he's finally healthy, and I feel like when people were kind of harping on his inability to stay healthy, I mean, it was all tied to that one injury, which wasn't really managed right from the get-go. He probably should have had surgery right away, and I just feel like he's pitching like the guy that I thought he would eventually be.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I love Eddie Rodriguez. I think the trade for Andrew Miller was perfect. I think the Red Sox management messed that up by not re-signing Miller in the offseason when they could have, kind of like what the Yankees did with Chapman. But Erod, on not good potential, if he ends up flaring out, he's going to be a 4-5 guy for you, which isn't still bad, being a legitimate 4th, 5th starter for you and being able to come in and eat innings for you, give you 5-6 innings a night isn't the worst thing in the world. But I think if he can get his command down and stay healthy, he'll be a 2 or 3. 2 being the highest ceiling for him, but a 3, a solid 3, in your lineup, and a good lineup too, in this lineup specifically, I think he could be that. And I think the injury was mismanaged. The night that he hurt that knee out in a rainy Baltimore, John Farrell just rolled him out like 5 minutes later for 8 earned runs or something stupid like that. And then he's hurt, and then he's on the DL, and for some reason doesn't get surgery the next day. Never really made sense to me.
Right. I feel like he could be like a John Lackey type guy, just a solid horse. I think he could be a legit number 2, I guess. And or maybe even an Andy Pettit type guy,
He could be one of those guys for sure, because he has those games that, like today, where 100 pitches, 16 2/3. If Cora wanted him to throw one more out, he probably would have got it. And that's a classic, like Pettit, Lackey, veteran, go in there, just tough it out, grit it out, and get it done. But he also has the games where he's going to give up 5 and 5 and throw 120. And, Lackey had those, and so did Pettit. But the thing that separated those guys was the playoffs and the balls. And I think that Erod has it. He's talked about his little, growing up and as a little kid thinking about rivalries and how big they are, and where he came from. There were some teams that weren't the Red Sox and Yankees, but were the Red Sox and Yankees of his time growing up. And he likes being on the mound in Yankee Stadium. He likes hearing the fans. He likes facing good lineups in hostile situations. So for me, I think Erod has the mindset for it. It's just to see if he can keep his command down and stay healthy.
Yeah, and that's a pretty fair assessment. Like he's not going to be Luis Severino. Like that's his ceiling's obviously lower than that. But for a guy, I think we have him under control for the next, I think through 2021 actually. So he's going to be around a while. I mean, we're going to have some tough decisions coming up with Rick Porcello and Chris Sale, but Rodriguez could be the kind of the steady hand, long term, if all else fails. So
yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think he's going to be around for a while. I just don't know if he's like you said, where's his ceiling, where's his floor type deal, and contract. I mean, he's only 25 years old,
right?
So I mean, he's young. He's arbitration through 2021, a UFA in 2022 when he's 29 years old. So we're going to know what Erod is by the time he's a UFA, which is perfect for the Red Sox, because if he is a legit 2 or 3 and he's worth $18 to $25 million a year, give it to him, of course. If he's a 4 or 5, if he's 5 innings, 6 innings, 100 pitches, a 4.5 ERA, a 4.25 ERA, and he's only worth 10 to 12 million, well, now you got to fight it and do it. And making only $2.3 million this year, I don't see it going up crazy next year. Even if it doubles to $5 million, that's still nothing crazy, I don't think.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. On the flip side of the coin, we have Drew Pomeranz, who has just been god-awful. Basically, I think his best start might have been a losing effort to the Yankees, where I think he just gave up 2 runs and kept us in the game, but we ended up losing it. And
yeah.
Beyond there, I mean, he's a 6.25. He's got a 6.75 ERA, and he looked bad last year out of the gates, but I don't think he looked this bad.
He struggled out of the gates last year for sure. He was not this bad, though. Absolutely not. And the way he finished last year with a 3.32 ERA was pretty amazing, especially when he struggled. But this year, he's just getting teed off. I mean, he's got 24 earned runs in 32 innings pitched. That's not good. I mean, like you said, the 6.75 ERA, he's 1-2, and he just can't get the ball to the plate. He can't locate the ball. I think that's his biggest issue right now. He's throwing 100 pitches in 4 innings.
Right, absolutely. And for a guy who tops out at 170 innings, I mean, he's going to flame out, long before the end of the season. And
oh, for sure.
Were you surprised when Cora announced that he was going to start him against the Astros of all teams?
Yeah, I was definitely shocked. The way he pitched against, I believe, Atlanta, it was his last start. And he went 3 1/3 and struggled big time. I didn't expect that at all. I expected more of an announcement of a phantom injury for Pomeranz to get right into the lineup a little bit because he's been pitching well out of the pen.
Yeah, or at the very least, Velasquez. I mean, you're throwing him into the Shark Tank with that Houston team. So he's a free agent at the end of the year. So, I mean, you would think, in a walk year, he would kind of rein it in to increase his value, as he goes into free agency. But
I would think so. I mean, he's making $8.5 million right now this year. He's a UFA at 30 years old next year. So pretty pinnacle point in his career. If you take away this year, he's worth, a good amount of money, a 3.32, a 3.32, a 3.66, and a 2.35 in 9 innings pitched in 2014. So since he's kind of been over the 60 pitch mark, he's been great, except for this year. So it goes to show you, do we go back with him? Do we find somebody else? Do we find somebody from the farm, even though all our guys keep getting Tommy John surgery down there?
Yeah, well, I mean, Jalen Beeks, I don't have his numbers in front of me, but, I mean, he was killing it last time I checked. And, he could be a guy who finds his way into the rotation, at least for some spot starts late this year, and then maybe, in a full-time role going forward next year. So,
he's playing really well this year still. I mean, he's got 2.74 ERA in 9 games and 49 innings pitched.
Yeah.
So I'd say that's pretty good for a 93, so he's 24 years old.
His strikeout to walk ratio, I guess, was insane as well.
He has 73 strikeouts to 14 walks.
Jesus. Yeah, so, he's definitely kind of, catching people's attention. And if you look at the fact that we just have so many free agents coming up within the next, year or two, I mean, I just feel like Pomeranz is going to be the odd man out. Like, he's just too big of a liability, I would think.
Right now, he's definitely the odd man out just because of pure stats and just where do you put him contract-wise. Well, you got Porcello, who you know what you're going to get out of him. Price, for now, he's not going to opt out. You're just going to say he's not sale. You're going to give him all the money in the world. So where do you put him contract-wise and in the rotation-wise? With Erod pitching so well, do you want to pay someone $12 million to be your number 5 guy?
No, definitely not.
No, yeah, that's what it comes down to, and I don't want to do that either.
Yeah. Let me get your thoughts on Hanley Ramirez. Very stunningly, he was designated for assignment last Friday. How shocked were you when you found out the news?
I was extremely shocked. I mean, I didn't think it was an option, which is why I think I was the most shocked about it. Honestly, I mean, when the season started with Hanley, I wanted nothing to do with him. I wanted him traded at the end of last season, and then Cora says he's going to be our 3-hitter. Very confused.
Yeah.
But he came out and performed. I mean, hell, he was one of the big parts to the 17-2 run. So I liked him at the beginning of the year, of course, but his vesting option is going to kick in. He's a dog when it comes to performance. When no one's looking, he's just going to be sleeping around, bare minimum. But when he needs to perform, he'll turn it up. But I just don't like the inconsistency. I like Moreland for $5 million this year, $5 million next year, Gold Glove defense, and he can hit the ball when he is playing against good matchups for him, which is righties basically. So that's great. And then Blake Swihart's under arbitration and team control for a while, and he can play multiple positions. Hanley's old and can't. I think it just comes down to that, and I don't know if I agree with the whole, we don't want Hanley being a bench player, because if he's great in the locker room and he can come off the bench and hit one hit for you, why wouldn't you? I think it just goes to show you that he's literally running out of options to play, and if he's not going to hit, he can't play first, get him off the team.
Yeah. And, I mean, Dombrowski did his best to put on the front that this was a baseball decision for many of the reasons, you just listed off. And I agree with all those. I would much rather have Moreland in the lineup at this point, and I would much rather have Mitch Moreland in a high-leverage situation late in the game. I just feel like the Red Sox are likely to win more games. But But kind of looming in the balance is the $22 million vesting option. And, I mean, it's a tough sell for them to say, no, it was only a baseball decision.